You're watching the Wellness Hour, the leader in medical news and information. I'm Randy Alvarez. Hot topic today. The new robotic hair transplant surgery is here by ARTAS. With us, we have the only medical doctor in all of San Diego County, as of today's date, with this robot that is getting, according to the doctor, amazing results. You could walk in with very little hair and walk out with hair in one afternoon. With us, we have Dr. DeYarman. Dr. DeYarman, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, we've had you on the program before, and you are an interesting story because I guess right out of medical school, you decided shortly after that all I'm going to do is hair transplant surgery. So for 36 years, this is all you do.
Correct.
Is that right? How
Yes.
many have you done?
Over 10,000. Can you believe it?
That's a long time. So what's better? Because when we talked on the phone, you say this new robot, I guess you're the only person in San Diego with a robot.
That's correct.
That the robot is a game changer. What do you mean by that?
Well, for the first time, it's become more scientific because we're able to count hairs. And that's really the secret to making a good hair transplant, because we're going to take hair from the back and the sides and redistribute it on top. So we have to know how many we're going to take and how many we're going to need. When we take these with a robotic arm of the robot, and it's able to recreate the graft that's perfect for transplanting.
Now, with the robot, as opposed to how it's currently being done everywhere in San Diego, more hairs stay with the robot process than the other process. Is that true?
That's true.
And don't you pay per graft? That means if you're paying for 1,000 hairs,
that's true.
So if more stay, the robot's cheaper.
Exactly. You're getting a bigger bang for your buck, basically.
Now, the reason you came on this show is because Dr. Chasen, who's San Diego's go-to plastic surgeon, he's been on my show, told you to come back in and get on my show. But I saw his hair, and I didn't know what was going on, but he looked a lot younger, right? Mm-hmm. And then I found out it's because of his hairline. So he made a video for you.
That's correct. It was really for the public to know that the robot was much easier to go through than the traditional strip method that we did on him before. And as a result, he's very happy with the way the procedure went. He's actually went and played golf the next day after he had that.
So let's go to the Dr. Chasen video, board-certified plastic surgeon in San Diego. Let's take a look at the video.
Okay, here we are with Dr. Paul Chasen, plastic surgeon, well known in the San Diego area, and we did a transplant on him about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 3 weeks
And
ago.
what's interesting, he's had previous strip surgeries, and this is the first time he had the robotic surgery. What did you think?
Completely different experience. The strip surgeries never hurt too bad. They were always fine, but this is a whole level different. I had zero pain. I didn't take a single pain pill. The next day I operated for 10 hours, and I played golf the following day, so it didn't slow me down at all. And actually, I feel great.
Very nice.
Well, that's very common. People that have experienced bad results or bad pain from the previous transplant are amazed how it's so much easier to do this today.
So I guess there's like 3 main ways to do this. Is that right?
That's right.
What are the 3 ways to transplant hair?
Well, the first way is the way we've done for a long time is the strip method, where we take out a tissue and dissect it out into small grafts and transplant those. The problem is you end up with a scar in the back of your head. So the patient is never able to cut his hair short because you'd see that scar line. That's where the FUE, or follicular unit extraction, is different, because we remove the hairs with very, very small punches. So small that you cannot find it where we've taken the grafts. The method in doing that, there's 3 basic methods to do that. There's the manual punch, where you spin a punch in your fingers and you remove these grafts, and it's very dependent on the operator, how skilled they are
to pull these hairs out to transplant.
Right.
So that's being done right now in San Diego?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This older method.
Yes, and the second method is a motorized punch, where the punch is being spun with electric motor. Again, it's dependent on the operator. If they don't have the correct angle, they don't know the depth, or if they don't know the spacing, how many should they do in this given area, because you don't want to strip out all the hair. The robot changes everything. It does all these calculations. Through software and engineering, they were able to create a device that can remove the hair in very, very small little grafts, and they're not damaged. The hairs aren't damaged. They're perfect for transplanting, and the results are a lot more predictable when you get perfect grafts.
So your results today are like 10 times better than they were in the old days?
10 times more predictable. That's what I think. Because with the old way, you didn't know how things were going to turn out.
Meaning you didn't know how many were going to stay,
Exactly.
or how the hair was going to grow.
All that.
Or both. Okay.
All that. Where with the robot, everything is a lot more predictable because of the number factor. You're able to know how many hairs they have to contribute, how much to transplant, and with the site making now, they're able to transplant between existing hairs. Well, it stands to reason you're going to get a better result. Okay, here's some pictures of some before and afters of what the robot can do. And as you can see, it's pretty amazing. There's better hair growing in, there's more hair growing in, and it looks so natural. And if you buzz his hair down to as short as you could cut it, you wouldn't know that he had a transplant.
Now, can the hair, because when I know of guys that have told me they had a hair transplant, it seems like their hair is short. Will the hair grow long?
Oh, absolutely. It grows like your normal hair because you're taking hair that's genetically programmed to always grow. You never see a man completely bald. He's always got that little ring around the head in the worst scenario. So he'll always have that hair. A lot of guys will shave their head because they don't want to have that look, but they'll always have hair there for transplanting. The question is, can you do what he expects you to do in transplanting? Well, with a robot, we're much better to predict our results. And that's what it's all about. Because a guy doesn't want to do something to himself that people would laugh at. He doesn't want to look foolish. He wants people to look at him and not even know he had a hair transplant.
How important is hair, in your opinion? I mean, you're a guy, you've been doing this 36 years. You probably think hair is important.
Well, it is. It's what ages a guy. If you lose your hair, you're going to look older than the guy that doesn't lose his hair. And that's many times I see people come in with the new jobs they're applying for. They want that hair to give them that edge. So it makes a difference in their lives. I've seen young guys that were so withdrawn, feeling so bad about themselves that we transplanted, we changed their whole life right around. It's amazing.
Now, we've seen the commercials. I think everybody has probably seen those commercials, one of your competitors, where the guy gets the hair back and he's running and hiking and swimming and dating and kissing, and his whole life, it's like his life changes.
Absolutely, and that's so
But you
true.
see that in your practice?
Absolutely, all the time. I see guys that, the biggest thing is the person that's so self-conscious of his appearance, that person changes in personality, in his work, in his ways of approaching life. It's amazing. For example, in movies, if you want to make a guy look old, you start to shave his hair, shave in the deep recessions, shave off the temple, and he'll automatically look older. And a good example that I remember was James Dean, where they made him look 50 years old, and he was probably close to 20 years old at that time.
Brad Pitt in Benjamin Button, as
Another
you mentioned
example.
that, where his hair, as he got younger, started growing in.
Yeah.
And, it does make a difference. So what else? You brought more photos. Let's take a look.
Well, all these are different types of, situations on transplanting, different hairline, different hair loss patterns. Look how nice these people look. The hair is fuller, it looks natural, it grows, obviously very long as the patient wants it to grow, and he's very happy. Well, we're able to transplant around those hairs and not cause any damage. As a result of being able to create only one hair graft for the front, multiple hair grafts for the back, we're able to create a natural full head of hair. Does this look like a transplant to you? Because what our objective was...
It doesn't, no.
Okay, because we tried to create a natural-looking hairline, which he'll never lose in his entire life. And we're creating the image that you'll always remember him by. So it's very important to have this look normal, not fake, normal for his age, and normal for him as he gets older. Now look at this before. I get guys come in with this type of hair loss. They're so self-conscious that they wear a baseball cap. A lot of guys, they would die for that much hair, but this guy is concerned about his hair loss, and we can fix it.
We're going to take a quick break. We come back, more about the process, what they can expect on the consultation. You're watching The Wellness Hour. I'm Randy Alvarez. We'll be right back.
They actually recreate what it's going to look like through a simulation process, and I can see my hair before I actually even get my hair. So it made me feel comfortable, and all of my fears went away.
With the strip procedure, I actually had to take about a week and a half off. For the ARTAS procedure, I was able to go back to work immediately.
And once the hair grew back in, you couldn't even tell it was ever done. So I didn't have anyone at work even ask me if I did it.
With the ARTAS procedure, you don't have to play word games. It is what it is. It's easy, it's quick, It's natural, basically pain-free, and you can't say that about the other procedures.
You're watching the Wellness Hour. I'm Randy Alvarez. Today's topic, new robotic hair transplant surgery with Dr. DeYarman. Okay, so for people just tuning in, you've done over 10,000
That's correct.
hair transplants.
That's correct.
And the robot is completely different now than anything you've ever done.
Exactly.
And you're the only guy in San Diego with this.
That's right, and the only one that has one.
Why is that?
Well, it's expensive, first of all.
It's like over $200,000?
Yes, yes. And you also have to be committed to hair restoration in your practice because that's all we do. And we're so focused on it that we knew when we saw the robot work that this was the next step in as far as being the best surgeon in hair restoration in San Diego.
Now, with this robot, and help me understand, you say that it helps a better graft, meaning a straighter graft, rather than where hair can almost, the older way, or the way it's being done right now most of the time, you can get like a pubic hair look, like a curved hair. Tell me about that.
Well, when you remove the tissue from the body, if you don't remove it correctly, for example, if you go too deep, you're going to get the hair bulb and you're going to turn it or twist it. So when you transplant it, the hair's going to come out very corkscrew effect, not looking normal, like a pubic hair.
Okay.
But over time, it'll straighten out, but nobody wants that right away. You want your natural looking hair. Well, with the robot, it only goes a specified depth. And we're able to control that depth because it's set in default settings. Now, if you take your first graft, you look at it. Does it look good, or does it look like we might have changed things? When robotic surgery, when we change things, we're doing it at microns. How in the heck could you do that with a handheld instrument? You couldn't.
So robot's the way to go.
Most definitely.
Now, does it cost more? Okay, so if robot is clearly better for a natural looking head of hair, thicker head of hair, more hairs, I guess, stay in the head, but it's not more expensive to do the robot.
You get more bang for the buck because more of the hair grows in, more of the hair grows in properly.
But cost-wise, you are less right off the bat.
Oh yeah, because more of the hair survive. Because if they more survive, you're better off than doing it.
So it's actually less then.
Exactly.
It's less than the other.
Exactly.
So is the challenge just getting the word out about this robot?
Well, the challenge is not only getting the word out, but challenging the people that tell people that they have a robot when in fact it's not. And it's pretty amazing how much.
So they're like motorized handheld devices as opposed to the robot.
Right, right.
Okay, we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll be back with more of these before and after photos. I'm Randy Alvarez. We'll be right back.
Being an actor, being in the business, your looks are everything. And having my hair allows me to work more.
If somebody's looking at your face and they just naturally look at your hairline, that doesn't occur now.
They actually recreate what it's going to look like through a simulation process, and I can see my hair before I actually even get my hair. So it made me feel comfortable and all of my fears went away. One of the reasons I chose the ARTAS procedure over the strip procedure, one is the pain factor. The strip procedure is very painful, and the ARTAS procedure has no pain at all.
I feel like I actually look 37 versus maybe 40 something.
It might cost a few dollars more, but in my mind is well worth the difference in price. I mean, totally well worth it.
I'm Randy Alvarez. You're watching the Wellness Hour. We're here with Dr. DeYarman. We're talking about new robotic hair transplant surgery. So Dr. DeYarman, let me ask you this question. So who should absolutely get a hair transplant? Who should get it?
Well, anybody can get a hair transplant, and then the person that should get this hair transplant is the ones that are concerned about their hair loss. If you think about it, you never met a guy that woke up in the morning, looked in the mirror and said, "Oh, I'm finally losing my hair." They don't like it. They just can't believe it. Or the guy that loses the hair in the back. He doesn't realize it till he's standing in the 7-Eleven store and he looks up at the monitor and he says, "Who's that bald guy?" And he realizes him, So nobody wants to lose their hair. Nobody.
So in one afternoon, they could come in like a cue ball almost, right? As long as they have hair on the sides, and they could walk out with hair.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like a thick, nice hairline.
Exactly.
With the robot.
Yeah.
Okay, you brought some photos. What else are we looking at?
Well, I would thought you might be interested in some women.
Okay.
Because this is pretty amazing. Here's a young gal here that had hair loss on the top and the sides, and we transplanted her. These are the results, and we're pulling the hair back, and we were, you know, I defy you to say that looks like a hair transplant.
That's very nice.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we're able to do today.
And that will grow as long
forever and ever.
Are more and more women coming in for this?
All the time, all the time. It's very common for women to lose hair in this part of their head, and it's called, you know, female androgenetic alopecia.
Now, when it's all done, do you see changes? Because you say it changes their charisma, their self-esteem. Do you, when they come back in a couple months later?
You know, they're so happy with their hair. They feel better about themselves. They're more open about themselves. They're more successful. And I'm amazed at the changes that I've seen over the years in people when you start to give the hair back.
So if they go to you for a consultation, right? How soon before you could say you'd be a great candidate, et cetera?
Your definition of a great candidate is very important here. If they just got frontal hair loss, they're the best ones to do.
Like me, just like a little bit of the corners.
Exactly, because you're able to establish the hairline, just make what you're going to look like for the rest of your life, and oftentimes, many times, it's such a subtle change that people that don't see you for a while, when they do see you, oh, you're looking good. You know, they don't realize that you've had the hair transplant. So it's a good change, it's a good positive thing. In medicine, it's the most beneficial thing you can do today because nobody dies and everybody gets their hair and everybody's happy. Okay, here's another one, another example of frontal hair loss. And with one procedure, we were able to make him look a lot younger. He's very happy about himself. We filled in those recessions, we lowered the hairline a little bit, and basically enhanced his appearance.
And so this is the robot that
exactly
that does this. Now and so his hair will never recede. I mean, he could be 70, 80, it doesn't matter.
No.
We have time for a couple more photos on the robot.
Another frontal one.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the results we're getting here. He's got more hair than you got.
Yeah,
you know?
I need to get in there.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to give me a discount, I hope, at least.
Double.
Double. Now, you have some of your photos. What else are we looking at?
Well,
These are
this
some
is
of your
a
patients.
man that we did 9 months ago. And you can see from his before photo and after photo that really made him look a much more handsome man. I mean, it's unbelievable how much better he looks with the hair on his head. And he's very happy about the result.
So what are the age ranges of people that are coming in to do this?
My youngest patient to date is 18. My oldest patient has been 85.
85.
But the best patient is the 35-year-old male. He's the best. Because for the first time, he can afford to do something about it. He's still young enough to do everything he's always done. And he feels good and he thinks he's really something, you know? So there, I like those
Because
guys.
of his hair.
Yeah.
Should I feel lucky, I guess, that I have, my hair hasn't fallen out yet?
Well, sure. Everybody.
I take it for granted, right?
No.
You take it for granted. That's your hair.
But I used to have more. You know, you used to have more.
Yeah.
We all have more hair when we were younger.
We all want more hair.
Exactly. The best way to see this is take your graduation picture from high school and compare that to your present photo today. And I guarantee you had more hair when you were 18 years old.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's the way for everybody.
Well, see, the robot, I don't want to put my opinion here on this program, but the robot has made it to where it's attractive now, where you could go in, doesn't hurt, low downtime, one afternoon, and you got thick hair.
Yes, and it makes the doctor look better too. So I think that's really important.
What do you mean by that? It makes the doctor look better?
Well, because it doesn't make any surgical errors. You know, it's able to, duplicate the procedure from 1 to 2,000, and I think that's amazing. It's able to, at the very last graph it takes, it's just as good as the first one it takes.
Are you of the opinion that, look, if you don't like your receding hairline, do something about it, period?
Well, I'm of the opinion if you want to do something about it, let's do something about it. Because it's so easy to do. It's very safe. Nobody dies. It's a very good procedure. Everybody's happy that they're getting hair back. So why not?
Now, could an expert sit where I'm sitting and question you and say, well, I don't know. I don't think the robot is as good as my handheld method, this motorized method?
I think the expert would be the first one to order a robot because he'll realize that technology always does better than the human person can.
So the robot is clearly better. Okay, we have a video. We're gonna take a look at this video. And a lot of it has to do with the planning and the staging of the hair of how you do it. Let's take a look at that. Very impressive. So you go through that with every single patient?
Absolutely, absolutely, because the more you can tell the patient what you're going to do, the more you can predict the results, the happier he's going to be.
So you could transform your life in one afternoon?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've got patients that I saw their whole personality change. You know, I can bring to mind a patient of mine that was such an introvert that he wouldn't go out of the house without a hat on. And he was only 18 years old. And he was not wanting to partake in any type of group activities because he was so self-conscious of his hair. When we gave his hair back to him, his mom thanked me 100 times over that it just made a difference in his life because he felt better about himself, he became more outgoing, he did better in school, everything changed in a positive way because of hair. Isn't that amazing?
Now, I had people over for dinner a couple days ago, and the wife was saying, I wish he would get a hair transplant. Because I was talking about you, by the way, right? And he goes, no, I'm fine. But is that common? A lot of the partners will like advise them to come in to see you?
Oh, sure. You know, it's a question of the man wanting to do something about it, and the partner encourages him. He's most of the time is going to do something.
Do they come in together?
Oh, yes. And when they do, you know, if she's talking it up, you know that he's going to do something because that's why he's there, because she wants him to be there. Well, the best way, when a husband and wife comes in, you want to get the wife involved. And so when I start to draw in hairlines, I ask her, what would you like? And that's so important because he's doing something that she likes. And then, of course, when he starts to see it, he likes it. So everybody likes what we're doing.
Okay. So somebody in their 50s and 60s that can afford to do this, but they're worried about downtime or missing work, things like that. Even though you advise them to take a few days off, a couple days off, but people are going back to work the next day.
If they have to go to work the next day, they can. They can. So it's, you know, I always tell them, well, come on, guys, you're spending all this money. Just take a couple days off and just relax because when you're active, things could happen.
So you just want you want them to heal safely so the hairs all take.
Exactly.
Is that what's going on?
That's correct. You know, I remember one time I had a guy that was working the movie sets, and he was a lighting person behind the scenes, and one of the lights fell down, hit him on the head. And he had just had a hair transplant, and some grafts came out, and, you know, he called me up, he came over to the office, and we put him back in. So yeah, those things happen because he shouldn't have been out there, but, you know, guys are funny. They're going to do what they want to do, you know. Dr. Chase is a good example. He played golf the next day.
That's the plastic surgeon in San Diego that you did. Is he? I mean, he has the thickest hair I've seen. By the way.
I know. He's a perfect candidate. He really is.
You know, when I found out he had a hair transplant, I remember calling him And I said, you have a dirty little secret I heard about you, right? Because he gave you permission to, I guess, tell me. And but he's very pleased.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in the beauty business.
Exactly. You know, you get the guys that are very happy, and then you get the guys that don't want to tell anybody. it's amazing. It's a very...
If I get it done, I don't want to tell anybody.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Unless they ask me. I'll say, Dr. DeYarman, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
No.
Final message to a man out there or a woman. They're losing their hair and they're not happy. What do you say to them?
Well, come to the office and we can evaluate your situation, show you what we can do, and you make the decision.
Okay, good. Free consultation.
Yes, no charge.
They always meet with you.
Absolutely.
You show them the robot.
Right.
Now, in the
Right.
future, do you think the robot's going to do all the work?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen the future in the robot. I was at a meeting this past weekend where they showed the new things that are coming out with the robot. They're doing it in Europe now, but they got to go through the FDA here in the United States, which is a long process. It's unbelievable, the paperwork they have to do. But this robot will not only take the grafts out, it's going to put them in. And the operator...
So that'll just make it less tedious for you.
Well, yeah, anytime it'd be a better result because it's so much more precise. You know, if you think about it, this robot sees all the hairs, it sees all the empty spaces, it's mapping your scalp, so it's able to tell you where it should put the hair.
So you're using that technology right now.
Exactly.
And doing it right now.
Right.
I mean, your results are like far better than they were just like 5 years ago because of this
absolutely.
robot?
Absolutely. No question about it. You know, I've had nobody complain.
So would you, I'm going to try to put you on the spot. So there's a lot of competitors, people doing it. You're the only person with a robot in San Diego County. Right?
That's right, the only
Now,
one.
Would you say that you'll get a better chance, that you would compare your work against anybody else doing it the old-fashioned way?
Well, I think the main thing is that you're able to reproduce better. You know, you always have patients that get better results than other patients. And you always show people your best patients, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the ability to repeat this on patient after patient after patient is much higher with the robot than it is the old way.
Okay, good. And it's less painful, for sure, less painful?
It's unbelievable. Every guy that I've done or has had previous strip surgery are amazed night and day. There's no pain at all post-operatively because it's
light pain, like discomfort?
No.
Because I have to
nothing.
be careful with this show to put disclaimers. Everybody's different. But it's not something they complain about.
No, not at all.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Very good.
All right, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You've been watching The Wellness Hour. I'm Randy Alvarez for now. I wish you good health.
Thanks for watching The Wellness Hour, the leader in medical news with your host, Randy Alvarez, the authority on health issues.